Let's talk about some wonderful living organisms called plants. They are in the kingdom Plantae. And guess what? Plantae means plant. The parts of the plant are pretty simple. There are roots, which absorb water and nutrients and anchor the plant to the ground so they don't fall away in the wind. There are stems, which transport water and nutrients and support the plant. The leaves, which absorb sunlight and perform photosynthesis. And if it's a nice pretty flower, it might have petals to attract pollinators for reproduction. There are many different types of plants, though, and plants are classified by whether or not they have vascular tissue, or veins, that transport this water and nutrients. There are two components of vascular tissue. Xylem transports water, remember WXY, water, xylem, and phloem transports nutrients, or food, for the plant. Phloem sounds a lot like food, if you know what I mean. The first type of plants we're going to talk about are non-vascular plants. Non-vascular plants are also called bryophytes, and some examples would be moss and liverworts. Bryophytes live low to the ground because they must touch water to survive. Since they are non-vascular, they don't have the veins to transport water, so they must directly touch the water in order to survive. The opposite of bryophyte would be a tracheophyte. A tracheophyte is a vascular plant. Some common examples would be trees and flowers. And in fact, we can break up tracheophytes into two separate categories. Tracheophytes with cones as reproductive structures, such as pine trees, like this one in this picture here, are called gymnosperms. Remember, hey, my name is Jim, 'cause I'm naked. That video? This is gymnosperms. Tracheophytes with fruits and flowers, however, as reproductive structures, are called angiosperms. An example of an angiosperm would be an apple tree, or this flower down here. Tracheophytes in general, both flowers and trees, can grow tall because they have xylem and other vascular tissue to transport the water from the ground. Let's talk a little bit about this thing called transpiration. When water evaporates from plant leaves and more water is absorbed by the roots, this whole process is called transpiration. The point of transpiration is to maintain homeostasis in the plant. Because transpiration moves water from an area of high concentration in the roots to an area of low concentration up in the leaves, this is also an example of osmosis at work. Any growth or movement in response to a stimulus is called a tropism. And in plants, there are three major tropisms that we will talk about: phototropism, gravitropism, and thigmotropism. Starting with phototropism, phototropism is a tendency of plants to grow toward the light. In this picture, this plant is growing toward the windowsill because that's where the light is. The next type of tropism is gravitropism. Gravitropism is the tendency of plants to grow with or against gravity. Roots grow downward with gravity, and because it's with gravity, it's called positive gravitropism. Stems grow upward against gravity, such as in this plant with the pot tilted on the side, and that is called negative gravitropism because it is against gravity. Finally, thigmotropism is a tendency of plants to grow towards touch. For example, plants tend to wrap themselves around a stick or a wall, and that's how they grow. They like to be touching something else. When plants grow or bend toward a stimulus, the plant hormone called auxin causes plant cells to elongate or get longer. Because of this, auxin works on the opposite side of the stimulus. So this is a picture of the sun Plants tend to grow toward the sun, so the side of the plant that needs to get longer would be the opposite side, and that is where oxygen would do its work.